just about at the time, and great. Yeah, thank you, Christy, for your message, and welcome to everybody who's here. Christy, Gabriel, Jeff, and Aminta, and Melissa. We really appreciate your joining us for the welcoming address, and then look forward to your participation throughout. So this is the first ever WAC Journal Conference. Macy has kindly agreed to be our guinea pig as we start into this new venture. It's been the idea behind the conference is arranged around a special forum that will be presented and published in the WAC Journal. And we're very excited to see how it goes, and we really appreciate all of you helping us get this new venture off the ground. I am Cameron Bushnell. I am director of the Pierce Center for Professional Communication at Clemson University, and Clemson University is the site, the host of the WAC Journal. And I'm joined today by Allison Daniel, who is the managing editor for the WAC Journal and has been for a couple of years now. We've really benefited, the WAC Journal has really benefited from her participation. So thank you, Allison. She, along with Macy Dunklin, who is also, as you see on the screen, are co-moderators today for our conference. Macy Dunklin is the first Will Hochman New Scholar Fellowship recipient. And so, and I must say that she, and having won this fellowship, really is what makes the conference possible and the special forum possible. In other words, we had the opportunity to work with the WAC Clearinghouse to make an application for a project for a fellow, and we were very happy to be able to have Macy join us as the Hochman Fellow this year. So the co-hosts for our conference and our journal presentation and the fellowship are the WAC Clearinghouse and the Pierce Center. So so we thank very much Mike Palmquist for having sort of gotten us off the ground, and Lee Nicholson for her consultation and advice in helping us sift through the numerous candidates that we had the pleasure to meet and to interview. And we are very lucky to have been able to work with Macy, who won the competition or won the application. And so it's been a pleasure to work with Macy over the past year. It has been a year-long fellowship, and the two main goals were to edit a special forum in the WAC Journal from the moment of designing what the forum would be about. And of course, that is also the subject of the conference today, which you will hear more about from Macy, but basically how to reach our non-traditional students on our campus in the best way possible. So how did this idea come about? So I have to say that I was talking to a law scholar who studied at UVA and is now working in China. Her name is Wenwen Ding. And she had just talked in passing. We were in some sort of a conference together. And in passing, she mentioned that she hosted this conference around her journal. And I thought, wow, that is just like a cool idea. And so I was really anxious to give it a try here at Clemson to see whether or not it would be a way to help us bolster our the number of issues and the number of subjects we would be able to address in the WAC Journal itself. So at that time, we were working to move from a one issue a year, an annual WAC Journal publication, to a journal that is published twice a year, or working on these special forums. So we have had the great pleasure to work with Chris Elder on the second volume, annual, what is that, a biannual volume for the WAC Journal. And so we have a little bit of history and we're looking to expand. And this special forum that Macy has been leading up is our second venture in this area. So as I said, Allison and Macy will be our co-moderators today. So let me introduce Macy a little bit more. So she writes about herself, and thank you for the bio, that Macy Dunklin comes from Charlotte, North Carolina, and is a doctoral candidate and writing consultant at the University of Texas A&M. Their research interests vary widely from sexual health to trans media representation to graduate student professional development. And a word, across, describes the overarching drive for Macy's research and passion projects. They are deeply interested in equity, solidarity, and accessibility in higher education and beyond, and hope to continue developing outreach and initiatives to support underrecognized minorities on campus. Macy is excited to be co-hosting this conference, and we are very excited that she is doing this for us, that has so many presentations on how to best support non-traditional students, old and young, in a variety of college settings. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Macy to tell you more about the conference and any of the logistics. Allison will be in and out, setting up the next roundtables as we proceed through the day. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are so happy to have you. And Macy, please take it away.
Yeah, thank you, Cameron, so much for that introduction. And hello, everyone who has joined us for the opening. This is pretty short because we're going to hop into our next session at 9. So I'll be quick, but I did want to briefly, kind of open with an idea. And that is a concept that many of us are familiar with or have requested ourselves, and that is help. And so help is one of those words that has a similar denotation across multiple uses and meanings, but the connotation changes. For example, when I am a teacher, my students are coming to me for help on the subject, and they show up to the classroom every day and ask me questions and complete assignments. But right now, I'm working in a writing center, and that's a very different place for students to ask for help. They approach very warily, and they're usually either too profuse in what they need help with, or they're admitting defeat very quickly, or even unwilling to admit shortcomings. And personally, I'm in my first position as an academic staff character, which has meant that I've had to learn how to reach out for help in different ways. I'm no longer, needing help with a difficult student in my classroom. I'm having to reach out for help with presenting materials to other people and so on and so forth. So we ourselves, as well as our students, are encountering more and more complex situations where help is a term that varies in the meaning and the situation of when it's being used. So I was thinking last year, what is help to these students? What do they need help with? What do they want help with? And I personally come from a background in both large public universities and community colleges. And I saw how the ages in the classroom changed in these spaces. Community colleges tended to be mostly older students, but we were also seeing our community college engage with younger students, some of these high school to college programs. And so classrooms were so different. And there was this lowest common denominator idea of how to address it. And I was like, what can we do beyond that? How can we help our current students and build them up and not just try to find a bar? And I'm so excited to see everyone's presentations today because they're more pragmatic than what I was expecting to see. A lot of you guys are talking about your ideas of what you're actually doing to help and how you're, embodying the care and community and collaboration that happens with helping our communities and actually reaching the people we're trying to help. It's easy, to kind of imagine our student body, but a lot of you are working with your students to figure out how they're receiving this help and engaging with it. And I think that's such an important and cool part of conferences. As a grad student, I've been put into the mindset of conferences are a benchmark I tick off to, make my goals each semester. But this kind of conference, I think, in the size and the focus on a topic brings back that opportunity to really learn and engage with each other on a topic we're all really passionate about. So I'm so excited to hear from everyone today. I know I've already said that, but I'm an excited person. And I want to go over some logistics real quick before I introduce who our first presentation is going to be in another Zoom call. And I sent these to our main presenters last night, but just to review, each conference is going to have its own individual Zoom link, which you can find on the website that got you to this room that you are in right now. So you can use the website or the PDF that we sent out to access each of the Zoom rooms. Everyone has screen sharing ability and is able to unmute. So that way, if you are a presentation group of 4 to 5 people, you don't need to worry about who has been labeled as host. You will all be able to share and unmute. And sorry, I'm looking at my list over here real quick. I will give a brief introduction at the beginning, saying the title and the names of each of our presenters. Otherwise, Allison and I will be moderating. Presenters, you don't have to look at the chat unless you have asked an interactive question. Allison and I can keep track of any questions for you. And also, please know that these sessions are being recorded. So if there is any personal information you're going to disclose, just know that there will be a recording of this session. And similar to that, we are trying to be respectful of everyone's time. We have people tuning in between classes and so on and so forth. So we will, at the beginning of each session, try to figure out a way to let you know when you're getting close to time. If you don't have a way to track yourself, that is one of the benefits of a Zoom conference is we can have our timers up off to the side. So those are some of the general logistics. If you have any questions, please feel free to email or use the direct chat to me or Allison. But our first presentation in our next room over is going to be titled Empowering Learners, Adult Learner Growth Mindset in First Year Writing, presented by a group from Purdue Global University with Gabriel Smith, Lisa Tietler, Joseph Weiss, and Cheryl Bone. So again, thank you for joining us at this conference. We've all got about 2 minutes to click around our screens and get into the other room. And I'm excited to see you all at our first session of the day. Thank you.